So before you even start, you want to make sure that your paper is vertical, the tall way, and your stencil is vertical. And the stencil is for the back wall, which is actually going to end up being open in our picture. But you're going to try to put it about in the center of your paper and then trace the outside. Then to make it look three-dimensional, we're going to use our ruler to connect the corner of our stencil to the corner of our paper. So make sure you're holding your ruler really still. Make sure that's where you want it before you start drawing. You have to look at both ends of the ruler. So now you have the beginnings of a 3D room that you can kind of look down and through. The middle is going to end up being cut out. So what we want to start working on is the floor. So on the floor of our room, we want some tiles, and we want it to look sort of three-dimensional. So there's a certain way we have to make the tiles to have that perspective. So in the middle of the bottom of where my stencil was, I'm going to make a dot. And then in the middle of where the bottom of the paper is, I'm going to make a dot. And they happen to be right underneath each other. But I'm going to use my ruler and connect them. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to be, about straight. Now here's where it starts to get a little different. First, you're going to make a dot from the end of here to the middle. So I'm going to eyeball the middle. Then I want to go from the middle between these 2 points. So I cover the top up so that doesn't confuse me, because the middle of these two is not here, which would be, about underneath this one. So I'm going to cover it up and I'm going to eyeball the middle and then connect those lines. And you will get a diagonal line. Same with this side. So in the middle of these, then I'm going to cover it up about the middle of those and connect. If you're really comfortable with measuring with your ruler, you can actually measure and find the middle, but it's easier just to eyeball it and it doesn't have to be perfect. So then we're going to do the same thing inside each of these spaces. So the middle of that section, the middle of this section, and connect. The middle of this section and the middle of this section. Connect. The middle of there, middle of there, connect, and the middle of there, middle of there, connect. So now we kind of have wooden planks. To get the tiles, we're going to actually make horizontal lines. That's just the way the perspective works, is that you can make each of these lines going straight across. So the thing is, as they get further away, they get closer together. So I'm going to make a line, try to get it straight right about there. And then I'm going to go just try to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit longer, a little bit further away. And then even further. Oops. Always helps to hold your ruler in the middle. So this is a good time to see your picture, and especially the floor, because the tiles are a little bit tricky, and decide, is this your best work? And if it's not, you might want to replay the video from the beginning and do this on the back, because the floor is really what's going to help give you the perspective of having the open room. So in our Surreal 3D room, there's going to be 2 windows, one on each side. So one, I'm going to show you both ways. One of the easiest things is to make an arch from the bottom. So it's almost like a doorway, not a window. So you're going to travel up vertically and then travel back down. But this side goes all the way to the end there. So this is like an opening. If you're going to make a square or rectangle, you have to follow the diagonals. So, by the way, you want your openings to be large because then you have more room for your pictures to come out. So that means I have to make, you can use your ruler or you can kind of just redraw it, but I want this diagonal line here. There's the top of my window. And I'm not going to quite touch there or touch there. But then down here, I have to match this line. So I'm going to go about there, like that. And to make it even more confusing, the vertical lines stay vertical. Just like that. Now, if I wanted this to be a window, the bottom of the doorway, or the bottom of the window, would have to be the same as that. So I could actually make that a line and erase this here and this here. So now it's an arched window instead of a doorway. And for now, our windows are going to be not there because we are eventually going to cut them out. The ceiling, you can kind of just do whatever you want as far as designing it. I think I am going to just add some stars. For your ceiling, I would like you to add just a pattern of some kind. A pattern are lines and shapes that repeat. I would stick with shapes because then you don't have to worry so much about the perspective. Then you're going to outline with Sharpie. When you outline anything that's straight, use your ruler. So what's really nice about using the Sharpie, we're going to use, by the way, the fine point Sharpie, is you're going to cover up most of your dots here. The tricky thing is you really don't want your ruler to move while you're outlining. When you're done sharpening, get a big eraser to erase all the extra pencil lines. Before you move on, make sure that you have everything Sharpied except for the X's. Make sure that everything looks the way you want it to. And then you're going to color with colored pencils. Don't forget about the handy dandy sharpener cups. You can have 2 per table. And then you can sharpen whenever you need to. When you color your tiles, you at least have to use 2 colors, like a checkerboard pattern. You cannot have them be just all one color, the whole floor. So 2 colors is fine, but if I color this one blue, then none of them around it can be blue. I have to go diagonally, like a checkerboard. A hint when sharpening is to actually not sharpen it to a super sharp point. They actually, because then they break usually. You just get it so that it's working. It saves you a lot of sharpening. When you color your ceiling with your patterns, make sure when you color in your shapes and when you're coloring around your shapes that you do actually color around your shapes, not over all of them. And we're done coloring.